I'm James, and I've made a couple of videos so far showing people how to make pumpkin carving and work on a few Star Wars props. But my wife asked me the question, well, you've been teaching origami classes for very many years, why don't you do a video about that? And honestly, it amazed me that I thought it never occurred to me. So today I'll be showing you how to make something using origami. And origami is the art of paper folding. It's a very ancient art, and if I make more of these videos, I keep telling you little bits and pieces about it. It's really a fascinating subject. Typically, origami is made using a single square of paper. Usually no cuts, no tears, no taping. There are different starting points, basically. You can use rectangular paper or a triangle. There's even models that will use multiple pieces of paper that all link together like a puzzle. There's a lot of variations out there. I mean, there's people that will make their own origami paper to start off with, which is an amazing process in itself. If you know you're going to be making an alligator, you choose the substance that the paper is going to be made out of and choose the texture and the weight so it looks exactly like you want it to at the end of the folds. And it's really impressive. But to start off with, you can go to pretty much any bookstore, find a nice origami book, a lot of really fun models to start off with. And typically they'll have packs of origami paper like this. If you don't have origami paper and you don't have a bookstore near you to get some of this stuff, there is a quick answer to that if you want to try it out. If you've got a piece of just printer paper, you can actually turn that into a square fairly easily, and I'll start off the instructions by showing you exactly how to do that. But the model we're going to be making today is this guy. Anytime I teach origami classes, this is what I start everybody off with. It's fun, it's quick, just a nice little origami frog, and it actually has a fun trick to it. I'll show you at the end of the instructions. If you don't have any origami paper, you can just take a piece of typing paper. This is a test piece I used to calibrate a new printer, and you just fold it so this edge runs along that edge right there. Next, turn it over and fold it so this piece folds down along that line, like that. And anytime you're doing an origami model, make sure to take the time to really get a good sharp crease. It's always very important to be very precise, especially at the beginning. Anytime you do a fold at the very beginning and it's a little bit off center or it's not lined up quite properly, 10 steps from now, it's going to be a problem that is accented like you wouldn't believe. It's nuts how bad it'll get if you start off with bad folds. So you fold it back and forth a few times. Now, tear that off, and you've got yourself a nice square piece of paper. This is also a good trick for notebook paper. I don't know how many origami models my backpack was filled with at the end of any day in high school. Found out it was a good trick though. It was something to keep my hands busy so I could stay awake, but it wasn't something that would occupy my attention so I could still pay attention in class. Just because it's a little bit easier to see on camera, I'll use a piece of paper that's got a little bit of color to it. To make a frog, what you want to do is fold one corner to another. Make sure to crease it down really well. One advantage to doing a video on YouTube as opposed to teaching a live class is that you can pause this video and go back as much as you want and slow down and watch the same step. So I don't actually have to wait and pause and tell people, okay, well, this is how you do this, and wait for questions, which is fun in a live class because you get to interact with people, you get to tell them about how you do this, and you really get a good understanding for what you're doing. But doing it this way is a little bit speedier. And you can see that the second step is to fold the other two corners together. Crease it down. And when you unfold it, you can see you've got this kind of X pattern across it. And if you set it down, you'll see that the tip sticks up a little bit. The next step is to kind of go with that. So you want to put your hands right at the middle of the sides and push in. And you can see how it's starting to stand up like that. You want to just keep pushing till all the bits meet in the middle. So it's like that. Once you've got that, lay it flat, make sure the edges line up, and really fold it down. And it'll help the next couple of steps to just fold it, like that. It's right down the middle, get a crease in it, and unfold it back out. So you still got the 2 points on either side. You see a lot of this in origami, folding and then unfolding. And you can even put many steps, and you put so many folds into it, like I figure 10 steps, and then unfold it back out to where you were like half hour of work ago. And this is pre-creasing. What you're doing is laying a blueprint into the paper through folds. That way you can see exactly where something needs to go later on. For the next step, you're going to take one layer on each side, and you're folding this edge to run along that center line. And it would be difficult to figure out exactly where the center point was had you not put that crease in there to begin with. You see, you just fold it down just like that. If you have ever made a paper airplane, it'll be a familiar fold to you. And you do the same thing on that side. You got this shape right now. Now you want to fold this flap here back to that edge. So like that. And you want to do the same thing on this side here. So I've got something that looks like that. Now, turn the model over, and you want to fold this point up to that point. So it's like that. And same thing on the other side. So you can see this thing is already getting pretty close to finished. Next thing you want to do is make sure the side with the flaps here is facing upward, and you want to fold it in half right here where it gets narrow. So fold the whole thing like that. The next step is you want to fold it right along that line there. So right in the middle of that flap. You want to fold it back the other way. And you don't want to fold it up here because it won't have any strength to it. You need the tension in the paper to do this. Looks like that. And you see it has a kind of zigzag shape in it. The next thing is to fold these out. These are going to be his front legs. And it doesn't have to be a really exact fold. I personally like to fold it so it just comes out like that. And you can just pull the tip out and see where you want it. I like to put it right about there. And then you just press it down flat. Same thing on the other side. And you now have an origami frog. And the trick to this one is when you push back and downwards on it, you can make them hop. The thicker a paper you use, the further it will hop. So if you use a piece of poster board, you can really make this thing go a pretty good distance. I used the cover of one of those composition notebooks in school, made it hop, and it shot all the way across a lunchroom. So, you know, you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble with it, but it's totally worth it. And the fun thing about origami, especially if this is a project that you are sharing with your kids, is that that can just be the start of it. It's paper, so it can be decorated. You can draw on it. You can do all sorts of things. I can put little eyes on it and do all sorts of great stuff. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if people seem to like it, then I can do more and more instructional videos about origami, because it's great. There is no end to it. There's pretty much an infinite amount of designs out there, and you can find them online in forms of diagrams, and you can find them in bookstores. But it is helpful to see a video because you're watching something being created in 3 dimensions. The books and the diagrams are wonderful. However, you're looking at something drawn out in 2 dimensions, and there's always going to be a step where you look at it and it makes no sense, and you'll just stare at it for an hour. So seeing something actually being made is helpful. So hope you enjoyed it, and if you're curious, look online, go to your local bookstore or a library, and they should have some books for you. So thank you.